My name's Haley, and ever since I was a little girl, I dreamed of becoming a famous singer. Like my heroes, Beyoncé, Mariah Carey, and Taylor Swift. I was that kid who entered every singing contest going. And you know what? I won a lot of certificates, trophies, and local prizes, including a month's worth of pizza. Yum! As I grew older, I knew I needed to reach a bigger audience, so I started posting covers on YouTube. I mean, it worked for Justin Bieber, so why not for me? Luckily for me, I have an amazingly supportive family and totally awesome friends who believe in my talent. My biggest supporter's Kurt. He's my best friend, and we've been living the same dream of becoming great singers ever since middle school. A year ago, we even chose to apply for West High together, despite its being further from our house than the other school, which was right around the block. It was totally worth it though. Why, you ask? Well, because of the great Swing Club. Yes, the desirable, renowned music club that not only organizes internal activities, but also puts on various shows and concerts, which are watched not only by the locals, but also by professionals, talent managers, and so on. It was even known as the cradle that has raised up some big names in the industry. And you know it, the next big thing will be Haley Miller. Mark my words. I loved the Swing Club, but it wasn't as easy as it sounds. You see, as well as passing the entrance contest, there were also monthly evaluations. It was super competitive, but it kept me on my toes. No way I was being chucked out of it like this one girl who missed a few rehearsals was... Shudder! So, okay, another year has rolled around, and it's time for another entrance contest. I was so excited, since I'd be a senior this time around. So I volunteered to Miss Anderson, the club leader, to help with the registration process. As I was looking at the new kids nervously practicing in the hallway, I noticed that there were also friends my age that had missed last year's audition and wanted to try out this time. Suddenly, a guy tapped me on the shoulder and asked me where the nearest restrooms were. Oh, he was cute, although he was fidgeting and sweating. I guess he was nervous. West High's auditorium was a bit of a maze, so I offered to show him the way. He told me his name was Eric, and he had stage fright. I comforted him, saying, "It's all okay, don't worry." I was also terrified when I first auditioned, but it all worked out just fine. I have to admit that I was curious about this guy, so I stayed around so I could watch his performance. Oh my god, he was amazing! And I'm talking Harry Styles amazing! Then, this pretty girl called Anna took to the stage right after that, and Miss Anderson asked her why she wanted to join Swing Club. I was about to leave to go congratulate Eric, but Anna's reply to the question got my attention. I know Haley's the star around here, and I think it's about time she had some competition. Wow, this girl knew my name? Yep, I guess I was a little flattered, but also confused. I didn't understand why she felt the need to say that. She mentioned me as I was someone she looked up to, or that's just straight up unfriendly provoking. Then she started singing my favorite Taylor Swift song, and yeah, there's no denying she had a great voice. Unsurprisingly, both Eric and Anna made the Swing Club. However, I could not have imagined that their appearance in Swing Club would cause me no less of a trouble. In fact, the first trouble took place right on the first day of them being Swing Club's official members. You know, at the first meeting, we would have to talk the newbies through the rules and stuff, and it was my job. At Swing Club, there was a regulation that for the first 3 months, newbies could only participate in supporting rules. Then, after proving themselves in the monthly evaluations, they could try out for bigger parts. Everyone was cool with it, except for Anna. She gave me a dirty look and said, "That's so unfair. So what if I'm new? I should be picked for the lead on my talent." I forced a smile and replied, "I'm sorry, Anna, but I don't make the rules." "Yeah, whatever. That sounds like discrimination to me. You're all probably just afraid that I would get the part you're after." The worst part was that some of the other newbies were whispering among themselves. They started to be swayed and agreed with Anna. I tried to keep my cool. "Anna, I'm a club member too. I don't make the rules, but I do have to follow them too. I hope you understand that it's a tradition of our club. We just want you guys to have some time to settle in," and Anna started to cut me off. But Eric spoke over the top of her.
Anna, that was rude. Be quiet. And stop interrupting the training session.
Anna sat down and didn't say anything else after that, but she still looked sulky. So, okay, this girl wasn't here to be friends, huh? Later that day, after training, I was walking to the parking lot when Eric caught up with me and said,
Sorry for earlier. Anna? Well, I've known her for a while, so I know how annoying she can get.
I smiled back at him. It's okay. How about you? Has the stage fright got any better? For what it's worth, I thought you sounded amazing.
Thanks.
He gave me an awkward smile.
I'm working on it, but the thrill of being on stage performing is worth tackling the nerves.
After that, Eric and I grew closer. We hung out after classes, and I helped him with his vocal practice and so on. He was really eager to learn, and always asked for my opinion each time he chose songs for the evaluations. That made me really happy, to be able to help and connect with someone who's just as passionate about the same thing as me. It was also like that with me and Kurt. But yeah, talking about Kurt, I wasn't hanging out with him as much as usual, but that was his choice. I always invited Kurt to join Eric and me, but he didn't seem to want to. I guess he's been acting a little strange lately. He got cranky about the smallest of things, such as me staying late to go over my lines, and the time I gave my spare cupcake to Eric instead of him, which I only did because, at the time, he'd just eaten a huge hamburger. I put it down to him being stressed over exams and all. That, or maybe it was hormones or something. Until one day, I thought I finally had the old Kurt back when I spotted him outside of the auditorium, and he smiled and waved back at me, then said,
Hey Haley, are you free? Come practice with me.
I replied, Actually, I was just about to go to the auditorium to practice. Let's go inside. He looked a little nervous as he replied,
Perfect. What a coincidence. Actually, there's also something I need to tell you too. But yeah, let's go inside first.
As we stepped inside, I spotted Eric. He pointed at his watch, then smirked. He shook his head and teased me.
What time do you call this?
Then he saw Kurt.
Oh, hi Kurt.
Kurt muttered out a hi, but he seemed uncomfortable. I guess he was still feeling a bit awkward around the newbies. I searched through my backpack for my song sheet, but when I looked up, Kurt had vanished. Eric asked me if something was wrong with Kurt, and I just shrugged. Geez, what's with this boy? Seriously, his mood swings were starting to get on my nerves. This weirdness wasn't like Kurt, so the next day, I sat by him in lunch and asked him where he'd gone during practice and what it was he wanted to tell me. With a cold voice, he replied,
I forgot what I was about to tell you. And now excuse me, I have urgent work to do.
Then he walked off, even though he'd barely touched his lunch. Okay, something was definitely up. Kurt wasn't the kind of guy who usually left his food. Was he mad at me or something? I hated having this weird tension between me and him, but right now, I was too busy to care. I had an upcoming musical to prepare for. You know, the female lead role was mine, so practice was intense. It was all going pretty well until, yep, you guessed it, Anna struck again. She showed up at my rehearsals and went on about how unfair the rules for newbies were and how she should be the lead. I told her again that it had always been the rule and I didn't have any right to change it. No one here had. Then she shouted out, I'm going to talk to Miss Anderson about this. Then we'll see. I followed her in case she caused any more trouble. Anna went on about that all over again to Miss Anderson as she entered her office. I guess Miss Anderson found it interesting that there's such a personality in our club. So even though she knew Anna's words didn't make sense, she still let her try out for the part. Oh, right then. If you think you're capable, let's have a rematch this Saturday morning at 10:30 a.m. Okay, fine. I wasn't afraid of going against her at all. But I was annoyed that now Anna thought she was one up on me. It seemed that all she had to do was click her fingers and everyone did as she said. Well, not me. She was such a diva. But she was no match for me. The day of the rematch arrived and I showed up without any worries. But as I entered the room, I heard everyone whispering. And Miss Anderson, for some reason, looked really mad and said, Miss Miller, you can turn around and go straight home right now. Anna will take the part. Then she picked her bag up and left before I had a chance to ask her what was going on. Worse still, I saw Anna smirking at me. This was so bad, and none of it made sense.